My dad, the ex-Marine, used to call it the finger wave. Because one of the ways they can palpate, I couldn't think, just say manipulate, but that wasn't the word I wanted, is by just a digital examination, right? Which is probably not something that, last time I had a routine physical, wasn't anything I was particularly looking forward to. Guys, we all, maybe you're not old enough, right? And I always thought I was going to escape. I know I'm such a baby, you know, I mean, when I express these, you know, it's like people go, well, yeah, but once you have your cervix dial in one of the, I get it. Right? I thought I was going to escape, right? I thought the doc was going to go, oh, you know, your blood work's fine, blah, blah, blah. And the inevitable happened. He broke out a glove, and he looked at me and he said, well, now's the time we're going to get up close and personal. And then those famous words are, just relax. Sure, doc. Anyway.
Hey, does everyone have to do that?
Huh?
Everyone has to do that?
Eventually, probably, Jesse. I have bad news for you. You're still young yet, my friend. Yeah, my dad. Anyway, he didn't like the idea. Infection of the prostate. You don't need this. It's relatively rare, but it does happen. Today, I gave the STD lecture in micro, and I should show you one of the slides anyway. No, I won't do that to you. But prostatitis, infection of the prostate, is relatively rare. And in fact, men have very, 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 thank you, low incidence of even bladder infections and things like that. It's much, much higher in women. But infections of the prostate do occur. These are some of the symptoms which you may or may not experience.
Are these going to be on the test?
Yes. No, they're not going to be on the test. Sometimes, Francis, I just put things on here because I think it's interesting. Okay. You know, there's sometimes you just get information which, you know, it's not on a test. Don't worry about it. But somebody, you never know. You might leave here tonight, and somebody might come up to you in the street and say, "I'll give you $1 million if you can tell me what PSA stands for." And you go, "I'm going to have to give half of this to Dave. It stands for prostate-specific antigen." And the last one are the bulbourethral glands, the very, very, very small amount of secretion which comes out of the bulbourethral glands. Anyway, like 1% or something like that. So now we've been through almost the entire system. I just got a couple more pictures to show you, and then we'll do the slides. But the first thing I wanted to stick on here was this. And yeah, I think it's probably important to know a little bit about the composition of this. Now, let's let's go down here. Total volume of semen, let's say 5 mils, just for a round number. Of that, really a very small percentage of it is sperm. So maybe 100 million sperm. And actually, you know what? If you get down to this level, that you're going to have trouble making babies. Right? 20 million sperm per mil. You're thinking 20 million per mil? It's an enormous number. It's still not that many when it comes right down to it, right? So you can see what the various levels of secretion are. There's various enzymes and things in there as well. So maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 mils. It's just it's variable, right? And this is, you know, but of course, if you're trying to make babies, this is the magic component. If you've had a vasectomy, then all that's missing is this. But all of this stuff, maybe the volume is going to be a little bit less, but not probably much. All of this is still being produced, right? You're just not getting any sperm. Yeah.
You're like more active than normal. Does that decrease your?
Don't know. I don't know. I doubt it. I don't know. Yeah, I doubt it. And here's a slide you don't need. But oh yeah, no, sorry. Pacular cell.
Is that the same as the nerve cell?
Yeah, sorry. Thank you for pointing that out. Yeah, yeah. These guys. Yeah, that's my bad. Sustentacular cells are the same as the nerve cells. That's just their formal name. Yeah. And here's a slide you don't need. But I was curious. Probably somebody asked me this question. So, what's the whole composition? Well, man, there's a lot of stuff in there. Some of it I have no idea what it's for. Like Zinc? I don't know. I mean, I get this. I don't know what this is for. Vitamin C, okay. So a lot of stuff in there, right? If you did a total analysis, you can see what some of it's for. You don't need to know this slide, but somebody probably asked me about it one time, so I went and looked it up. But that's all the stuff that's in there. And then let's see, what's this last slide?
I read an article that's supposed to be like good for your skin, like your facial confidence. I really
Not sure where you're reading, but I know. Well, there's lots of stuff in there. I guess, yeah. Who's to argue?
For
My
what?
coworker's mom buys it. Like,
Who, what?
My coworker and her mother buys it from a whale fur, and she rubs this on her face. She was young. I don't know if it's because of that.
I got to sit down. You can actually, well, I'm not. Why am I saying that? Of course, you can buy anything.
Like, I think, right, it's like $50, like 100 and something for a little, like tiny little dog.
That sounds like a scam to me. I got to get into
It
this.
looks really young. She uses a bunch of different things too, so I'm not sure what works.
Has she had any work done
No,
that you know of? Okay.
she's like trying to get her daughter to use it. She's like, I'm not
That's like, Patrick was.
Oh, just for the zinc, it serves to help stabilize DNA containing chromatin.
Oh, thank you. Here's the passageway to the outside. This is, of course, the urethra through the prostate. The membranous is very, very small. I'll show you where all this is in the penile in just a second. Oh, here's one of my favorite slides. We'll get to the urethra in just a second. But here's one of my favorite kind of looking slides. This little guy here, the alien face here. This is this is well, you'll see a slide similar to this tonight. I think it's pretty cool. So the penis has like 1, 2, 3 little bands of erectile tissue in it, right? And we'll get to all that in just a sec. And so this is the urethra, right? Surrounding it is erectile tissue called the spongiosum, the corpus spongiosum. And then these are just little arteries, right, the big little eyes. And these two structures here and here are the other bands of erectile tissue, and it's called the corpora cavernosa, right? And tonight I'll show you a slide. As soon as I'm done here, I'll show you what this slide looks like, on an actual slide. It doesn't look like this at all, really. But anyway, that's kind of what the little face looks like. It's cute. Here's another picture. This is really more what it looks like on a slide. So this is the cavernosa up here. This is urethra, and this is the spongiosum. But anyway, thank you. And here's another picture which shows you where that stuff is. I'm trying to find it here. Here's the spongiosum, here's the cavernosum. Or a better picture is this one. Oh, and this is a picture I need to pause on for a second. So here's the prostatic urethra, right here. Here's the membranous urethra, right here. And this is the penile urethra right here. And sometimes it's called the sponge urethra. And here's the cavernosa, here's the spongiosa, and hang on, I'll get it in a second, it'll pop into my brain. Don't tell me, I'm trying to think of it. I told you about, I'm thinking of the word vasectomy, but I know what a vasectomy is. Circumcision. You never thought you heard that word, huh? Anyway, for some reason I couldn't get it out of my brain. It's a procedure, of course, which is removing the foreskin or the prepuce. It's done in. There's big row in San Francisco about that right now. They're wanting to put something on to make circumcisions illegal in the city of San Francisco, which is clearly a violation, of the Constitution. So anyway, but anyway, what are you gonna do? Anyway, so that's that procedure there. Now my last slide, again, you don't need to know this at all, but this was a question that somebody asked me, and I had to find out, right? So anyway, the question was, how does stuff work? And the question a student asked me one night was how does Viagra work? Biochemically, how does it work? And the answer was, I really didn't know. I just seen a commercial on television like you guys have. So I needed to find out. So I went to this site called, well, actually what I did is I Googled how does Viagra work. And you can imagine all the stuff, information I got. But I went to this site called How Stuff Works, and I use this in micro, as a couple people here can attest, because, and again, you don't need to know anything about this, but it's a classic example of biochemistry that made a fortune. And what happens, sildenafil citrate is the active ingredient in Viagra. It's the same in Levitra or Cialis. It's all the same chemical. But the way in which it works, and you've had some chemistry, you've had some biology, sildenafil citrate is actually an enzyme inhibitor. And what happens is all this kind of stuff is going on, and enzymes and proteins are being produced. But anyway, there's a substance called cyclic guanine monophosphate, cyclic GMP,